Can't hear him.
No, nothing yet. All right. I think we've hopefully solved it. All right. Do you want to tell him, or am I telling him?
Fantastic, Harry. Well, welcome to the 18-foot skiff nationals here in sunny Brisbane, Queensland. We've got some sorry for the delay, team. We've just had a few technical problems here, and we're coming in live from Waterloo Bay in sunny Queensland. The weather's looking fantastic. We're going to have some light winds this morning, and all the boats are getting to the start line and checking out the day. So with us today, we've got Steve Tapsell, local 18-foot skiff sailing legend, to help us out with the commentary team. And we've got Mark Graverson on the water as well. So one of the other things that we just want to make sure today, we thank Wealth, our major sponsor for today. They're one of the biggest digital bank lending companies in Australia. So big thank you to Wealth Investment Group. It's been a few years since the 18s have been in Brisbane. 2015, I think, Steve, was the last time they were here.
Yes, that's right. And they came up here. We didn't have any Brisbane sailors as such then, but Brisbane's had a continuous sailing here for over 100 years.
Yeah, it's amazing. And as our late Stripey Grant, a great reporter from Brisbane, he would have said that these were glamorous Waterloo Bay conditions to sail in today. So it's just fantastic to see the 18-foot skiffs back in Brisbane. And, it's not too far away, 2:32. We're going to have the Olympics on this same little bit of water, and hopefully some of these sailors in the 18s today, we might even see at the Olympic Games.
Just for the viewers, you can see that the AP is up on the start boat, and that just saying that it's a postponed start. Obviously, there's a little bit of breeze oscillating around, and to the south, we have a little bit of rain that's around that may be affecting, but just the light breeze. The race committee here at Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron want to make sure that we have a good racetrack to get around on.
Yep. So, Mark, are you there on the course? What are you seeing up on the course, Mark?
Oh, well, it's certainly looking like the breeze is starting to fill a little bit from where we are. We're not that far away from the start boat. I'm also looking down to the southeast. There are a few storm clouds down there, so we might have a little bit of excitement a little bit later on.
Yeah, I was just checking on one of our weather apps here on the mothership, and there looks like there's a bit of wind on the Gold Coast that's not too far away. So you never know, we might get a little bit of a southeast change, and we may have some stronger winds come down the racetrack as the afternoon goes on. So hopefully all the sailors will keep an eye in the south for some of the stronger winds if they're coming.
Some other information about the racetrack today. We've got a high tide around about now, so that won't play much for the first race today, but going forward, there'll be some interesting tactics.
Yeah, definitely, Steve. The tide is a huge factor here on Waterloo Bay. It runs at about 0.8 of a knot on most areas, up to a knot if there's a bit of rain around, and there has been this week. So the sailors will be really looking for those lanes of low tide to increase their boat speed for sure. Yeah, it's amazing, Steve, just to see the 18s back in town here. And just a little bit of history, way back, I think it was in about 1930, the Queenslanders actually dominated this class. It's a little bit like State of Origin, New South Wales versus Queensland. And we had a boat called Aberdare, skipper Toby Werrett, way back in 1930, and he revolutionised the 18-foot skiff class. And that was sort of the roadmap until today. And along that journey, 1959, I think we had the great Ben Lexon. He also was the next big innovator, and he built Taipan at a local boat builder here, Norman Wright's, which is still going today. And those modern 18s are now developed from some of those great men way back in the day.
That's right, Adrian. And these 18s have a long history of being extremely agile, brilliant sailors, but the innovation has been critical. The other thing that happened here in Brisbane some years ago was the War of the Wings. It was about 1982, and as a young boy I came out and watched them sailing here, and every day they would come in to the beach, take the wings off and add another panel on. And so the wings doubled in size over a regatta. It did make it difficult to sail. They were hinge wings in those days, but they were still strong, agile people. But these new boats are a one design, and they still require incredible agility, strength, but the designs have made that they're much more efficient boats.
Yeah, 1982, Steve, I remember it like yesterday. I think the great Rob Brown was one of those competitors back then. But we might just go quickly to an ad break and let's hear from our major sponsor for today, Wealth Digital Lenders.
Our partnership with Parlay is to really raise awareness that the issue that's currently present. I think it's up to us as business leaders to take charge and take control of the issue.
It kind of shows that not even paradise is safe from what we are doing.
For us, we had an opportunity with Wealth to really, from the start of the organisation, choose a purpose that was close to myself and also Drew. We grew up by the water, sailing, being in the ocean, and probably got exposed to, I suppose, ocean conservation from a really young age.
We have big plans together, Wealth and Parley here in Australia, and we're going to be a lot louder, to be a lot more active, and even more so important that now we can partner with Wealth and make a big impact.
Yeah, fantastic. So we're back on the racecourse now, and big thank you to Wealth Digital Lenders for their support. This regatta wouldn't be happening. But let's get into the key stuff, Steve. And we've got some amazing sailors here this weekend, and some of the top teams. Like I'm hearing in the race brief that Rag and Famish, Harry Price, he's going to be one of the favourites to watch, and Yandu with the Queenslander, Tom Needham.
We've got Bigfoot on the screen here, and they're probably one of our top boats here in Queensland. Great team there. Dave Hayter, several-time 14-foot skiff champion. The main sheet there, Ben Roxburgh, and he's come through the junior program here at Royal Queensland, but passionate with the skiffs now. Yeah,
Dave's been at it for a few years now, trying to break that New South Wales stranglehold on the title. And hopefully Dave can get one up for Queensland with this state of origin battle that we've got going on here. But also in the fleet, I've got my money on some of the teams from Sydney today. I think Emma Rankin and Rebecca Hancock, they're going to be ones to watch in the light air. I'm hearing around the boat park that they're light air flyers, and they're going to bring some great racing to the fleet today. But Harry Price, he's just been recently in New Zealand. I think he did the Moth Worlds, and recently got back.
That's right, and these boats like the Rag and Famish and Yandu, whilst it doesn't have its usual crew, these two boats are really dialed in and should do really well with the fair breeze and the less boat traffic, so it will be really interesting racing with these boats. And just interesting to see where the Queensland boats like Bigfoot and also the Wealth Finance, that's a brand new boat as of 2 months ago. A group of young guys who've come through the youth program here as well in Queensland, they should be able to give it a good nudge.
Well, I think Yandu, Steve, with the sailors they've got on board, you've got famous Lewis Brake, who grew up here in Queensland, and over the last 10 years, Lewis has nearly won everything that there is to do in yachting. He's won a few Hobarts, and he's won some Etchell Nationals with the famous John Bertram, and he won the JJ, I believe, last year with Fang Warren. And they've got Tom Needham on the steering duties for this regatta. So that'll be a great team to watch, because both Tom and Lewis, all their junior sailing was here on Waterloo Bay, so they know the waters really, really well, those two.
and they know high-performance boats. Tommy Needham, he's just come back from the GPs in setting the boats up over there in New Zealand, but he was also on the AC youth team, so he's going really well. And here's sixth on the screen now. They're motoring around. It doesn't look like there's a lot of action there, so it really will be having the boats powered up when the race starts, and looking out of the boat and looking for tide and new wind shifts.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be looking for powerful sails today in this lighter breeze, but they just might have to keep their eyes in the south. As you can see, there's a lot of cloud build up over the shoreline there, and I'd be keeping my eyes peeled in the south and just make sure that this breeze isn't going to pick up. It could be an exciting afternoon if we get that little front through.
That's right. And we may be a little bit biased here today, being Queenslanders. There's a number of boats that are also worth mentioning that we're claiming as Queenslanders, in addition to the ones we've mentioned already with Yandu. But we've got, we've mentioned Wealth, which is permanently here, Bigfoot, which is Queensland. SeaTech is a Queensland boat, but it's actually the team on board today are actually from Victoria. So we're claiming them as Queensland as well. We've got... Also, Lazarus is on the water as a late starter, and they've got a couple of New South Wales guys, but are originally from Queensland.
Yeah, we've definitely got that state of origin feel about it, Steve, with New South Wales and Queensland, and I'm definitely going for the Queenslanders for a win here this afternoon while we're on Waterloo Bay. But I just looking out of the window. Yeah, Mark, what are you seeing on the racecourse there, Mark?
We're just seeing the race committee is doing a big shift of the start boat at the moment. So they've moved from where they were, and they're sort of heading a little bit to the west, a little bit further inshore. So I think we've seen that breeze potentially come around a little bit to the left, a little bit more to the northeast. So see how it goes.
Yeah, Mark. I'm just looking outside the window here, and there's some really big storm clouds building up in the southwest there. What can you tell us about that?
Looks like it's getting a touch closer. There was some rain coming out of it just a little bit before, but looks like that's gone. Hopefully we don't need to break the wet weather jackets out on the boat here, so that should be otherwise exciting. But we'll see how it goes. You know how it goes. There's when the clouds come in, it either kills the breeze or it could bring it. So 50-50 split here, I think, and we'll see how it goes. There's certainly a lot of clear out to the northeast. Out over Stradbroke Island there, but the clouds sort of from here, most of the time the wind's sort of coming over my shoulder at the moment, normally where the storms come from the southwest. It's potential that one that we see out to the southeast could just slide up Stradbroke Island.
Yeah, fantastic, Mark. And we can see there we've got an aerial shot of the fantastic Waterloo Bay. It's just champagne conditions here in Brisbane at the moment. And it's great to see some of the spectator boats. We don't see the 18-footers in Brisbane that often. I think 2015 was the last time we were here, and so we've got a lot of keen locals in our Manly Village area coming out to see the amazing racing on the 18s, which is great. Getting them ready for the Olympics in 2:32, Steve.
Yeah, that's right. It's surely a spectacle, and I'm just looking at the weather apps now, and like Gravo has said, the breeze is shifting. We're having to move the mothership right now. We're in the middle of everything. But from what I can see on the weather apps, there's like 2 knots for the north, just north of us. So there's a couple of weather patterns pushing it around. So the race committee are trying to respond to that.
Yeah, let's to some of the boat park.
I think the forecast-wise, it looks variable. I think maybe potentially. I mean, it's changing every day. Like a couple of days ago, we were sort of thinking, "Oh, gee whiz, we're probably not going to get any sailing in." It looked pretty fresh, and then a couple of light days forecasted now, and a couple of storms yesterday came through with some real strong breeze. So hopefully that stays away. But yeah, I mean, well, we get what we get really. Hopefully we get a range of conditions so we can sort of have a good event. With it being shallow here and the boats being pretty large and in charge with big kit out the front and up the top, you sort of can get a bit chicken winged up and stuck in the mud occasionally. So hopefully it's pretty tame.
Well, yeah, there is a lot of great young talent in the class coming through, and that's just absolutely fantastic to see. There's you would think that, you know, the three main protagonists that have been, you know, consistent for the last season and a half, which is Rag, Finport, and the Andu, current world champion. Three amazing sailors in the current JJ's boat, so Louis on his home water, so they're going to be very, very strong.
Oh, I think the guys on the Rag are sailing pretty well this year. Harry, Finn and Max. Who else? Keegan on Finport with Gus and Phil. And yeah, we saw the Queenslanders over in Garter and they're sailing pretty well as well. So it's just, it's going to be different to Sydney Harbour, obviously.
You can never go past the mighty Yandu with Fang and Louis on board. They're, you know, rock solid with their boat and their boat work, and their boat is fast. You know, our boat's going pretty well at the moment this year, and I've been off, sort of out injured for a little while, and so up here, first time for a month and a half. The Queenslanders are always quick, so you know we don't race them too often, and I'm pretty confident that they've now got, you know, 2 new boats pretty much on the racetrack. So yeah, anything can happen, and it's their home waters, so we'll wait and see. So
obviously Dave and his crew sail awesome, and they're getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and they had a really good regatta in Garter, and you know they're only getting better and better. So absolutely they're fully in contention on their home track, and I'm sure they'll probably give us a few lessons on which way to go, you know. So hopefully it's a little bit simpler than the harbour. No, we just want it windy and one track. And minimum manoeuvres, we're pretty old and pretty rooted, to be fair. So the less manoeuvres we have to do, the better we'll be. So yeah, we're just hoping that a bit of old age and treachery will get us around the track, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool and interesting to let it run a bit. Out here you're probably going to start and then sort of get towards the side if it's not coming off the land. But yeah, as you say, in Sydney, it's even when it's like a nor'easter, it's a sea breeze, it's still shifty because of the land. It's going to be a little bit different out here, like probably a bit more of a speed race is my guess.
Okay, it's great to be back, and we're here at the Australian 18-foot skiff National Championship on Waterloo Bay, Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, and the race committee's just moved the start boat. They're trying to find some of the best wind for today, and you can see they've got that red and white striped flag up on their committee boat. That means the race is postponed, Steve. So we've just got a little break here, and the sailors will be testing the wind and having a look at where the best wind's coming from while the race committee find the best wind on the course.
Yeah, that's right. And you'll see just before now, we had a few of the boats had their spinnakers up, just seeing which way they were best to go with that. They're now checked all their gear. Like you say, Adrian, they're looking for tide line, which if you see in these aerial shots, you can almost see some shiny lines. They're things to be inside or outside, depending if they're racing into it against the tide. But yeah, let's with all the gear getting ready, reminds us that one of our other sponsors is Deck Hardware, suppliers of marine fittings in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, big shout out to Deck Hardware. It's one of our partners today here and sponsoring the 18s. Fantastic product and really good service with Deck Hardware. So thanks, Deck Hardware, for making this all happen. But just reminiscing, Steve, 2015 was the last time the 18s were here in Brisbane. I think the great Sevi Jarvan might have won that Nationals back in 2015. And, you know, Sevi went on in the 18s. I think he won 7 JJ Gilton.
Yeah, one of the all-time greats, and the old Channel 7.
Yep, that's another name. The great Ian Murray in Channel 7. Let's just have a go to the start list for today. Let's just have a look at all the boats that are going to be heading on the start line today. So, you know, first off, we've got the 18-footers, Bar and Restaurant.
We've got Balmain Private.
And then Bigfoot, Bags and Covers.
from here in Brisbane, and also the Brisbane 18 footers, which is in Wealth Finance by Josh Sloman.
Yep.
On screen there. The 3 youth guys from here in Queensland come through the ranks.
Yeah, and then it looks like we've also got Fisher Pikeow. Now there is a one of the masters in the fleet, Brett Van Munster. Brett is synonymous with the 18 fleet. His company builds the 18s, and Brett's a master boat builder, especially in the carbon fibre area these days. So it's great to see Brett still sailing the boats.
And we've got Gotcha Life and Marine Outlet.
And then we've got one of our female skippers, Beck Hancock, with Noakes. Noakes is another great supporter of the 18 fleet with Sean Langman and his company in Sydney there, Noakes Rigging. You know, we've got the Rag and Famish, Harry Price. Harry's one of the greatest young sailors in the country at the moment. And we've got Shaw Partners, Emma Rankin, one of our other female skippers here
and
today.
We want to claim that one as a Queensland boat as well, because Alex Watson on the main sheet is a young person come through the fleet here in Brisbane.
Yeah, it's fantastic, Steve. We've also got Smeg, Nathan McNamara. And one of the boats I'm going to keep an eye on this week is the kitchen maker, Lachlan Steele. I heard Lockie might be on fire at the moment. And we've got the Royal Oak, Hugo Stoner, Pebbles, as he's well known in the fleet.
And Voikobe with Kirk on the helm. I mentioned Wealth with Josh Sloman, who's one of the Queensland boys. And, of course, Yandu.
Yeah, Fang Warren and Tom Needham and Lewis Brake, they've got to be one of the hot favourites for this regatta, especially with Tom and Lewis. They've done so much sailing in these boats. And Lewis is a little bit of a quiet legend in the sailing circles, pro sailor, and he sailed, I think, anything that floats these days, Lewis sails.
Yeah, and same with Tommy Needham. Like I say, he did the AC boats overseas in the youth program, as well as just having a bit of a hand in with the GPs.
Yeah, for sure. We can see a few of the 18s here out the window, and with the aerial view, they're just testing their speed and having a look at the waters that they're going to race in. I've just noticed there's a lot of weed on the course today with this outgoing current, so that's something that the sailors will have to watch, is the weed on their foils, their centreboard and their rudders. They'll have to keep a close eye on the weed and also the crab pots. It's a bit different sailing here than Sydney Harbour.
Yeah, that's right, Adrian. We don't have so much traffic on the top, but we certainly have a traffic underneath, and they'll dugongs, turtles and seagrass are things that they'll have to just have a bit of a negotiation around the bay. Yeah.
The last week we had the Optimist national titles. We've gone from one of the fastest boats on the water to the slow junior boat, the Opti, and I think we had 250 sailors out here last week battling the winds, and we had some really strong winds for those juniors. And, we'll see those names that won that event in the 18-footers, in the near future. So it's great to see.
One of the boats that I don't think we actually mentioned, but it's Lazarus. That's also it's a late entry, replaced another one of the boats. It's got a skipper who's based in Sydney, Tom Koenig, but he's also comes from these rounds here, and he's got another person who's also based in Sydney, but from Brisbane, is Cam McDonald. So that's another boat, and that'll be an interesting one because they're no slouches either. Cam's done a lot of campaigning in skiffs, as have done Tom. Tom's on the helm today, but they've also done their share of Olympic training, so they've got the skills and know how to read the wind and the water, so they could be a dark horse.
Yeah, Cam definitely knows this bay. He grew up here as a junior, sailing in Moreton Bay, and so he could be a dark horse here. Families are born and bred in Brisbane, and so they know these waters really well, Steve.
Yep, and we're still seeing that the race is postponed, so the Where's Wally flag is still up. Just obviously the breeze is just moving around a bit too much to be able to set a course and a start line. So it's a little bit frustrating for the crews, but they just got to maintain their, have a sip of water here and there and just keep their head out of the boat to see where there's clouds coming across. This shot doesn't show any, but if they pan to the south a little bit, you might be able to see that there's quite a bit of cloud around it, and that may push the breeze around and maybe pushing it around now.
Maybe we need a live feed from Mark on the racecourse. Mark, can you hear us? And what are you seeing up at the racecourse, and what do you think the race committee is going to do, Mark?
Well, this breeze has definitely continued to go left, so it's definitely well set now in the northeast compared to what we were when we first got out here. I was just checking on the radar as well. The storm clouds that are to the south of us are roughly heading our way, but it's really, really slow moving at the moment. There is a bit of rain I can see coming out of it. With a bit of luck, it's going to just get the side of it from us when it gets here. So it's looking to dissipate in the future. Is what Bomb's telling us. So fingers crossed that continues to be that way.
Thanks, Mark. That's really good input there, and you're right with that rain cloud that may glance us. It can push the breeze around a bit. As they say, when they're learning to sail, the rain clouds blow and the non-rain clouds suck, and so when the rain pushes the air out, it can push the direction of the breeze. So the crews will be looking for all of those little rain scuds around, just so that they know where they should be in regards to the course.
Yeah, it looks like, Steve, it's a bit of a southerly buster out window here. The clouds are getting very dark in the south of Brisbane here, probably pouring with rain on the sunny Gold Coast, but it's something that the sailors definitely will be factoring into their race plan. Is this low-level cloud approaching the race course? Is this, storm fronts as they approach? Hopefully we just get a race underway.
Yeah. Interesting, with some of our commentators tomorrow, we'll have Scotty Ramsden. He's a well-experienced. Oh, here we go. Here's the weather showing the rain coming across the screen now, and there's a big lot down on the Gold Coast. There's a few little scuds in the middle of the screen you can see there. That's what we're seeing out the window and what you can see in the camera in the background. So there's a little bit of influential stuff locally now, and then going forward, when that big cloud comes up, that'll settle something in, but it could be interesting.
Yeah, we'd probably be happy up at Noosa at the moment, Steve. We'd be on the beach towels and under the cabana tent and having a great day at Noosa. It looks like it's pretty fine up there, but you can see there there's a lot of rain coming into the Gold Coast, so that's going to definitely influence the race course here today.
That's right. But what I was getting back to with Scotty Ramsden and Angus Roxburgh will be your commentators tomorrow, and Adrian. Both of these guys have won world championships in the 18-footers over the years, and so looking at the weather for tomorrow, it may be a little bit breezy. They should be able to get a race away, but those commentators will be able to give you a lot of the details and what the finesse, how to have finesse with a big beast of these boats are.
Steve, I think tomorrow they're going to be plugging in the small rigs or the smaller sails they can find, because the weather I looked at looks like it's going to be fresh to frightening. Yes. So, we'll have some incredible footage tomorrow for sure.
That's right. And today, interesting to watch where the crews sit on the boats today. So when they're going to windward and today, you'll see them stacked as far forward as they can. And some of them may even be on the foredeck if they don't need all the three strings. And tomorrow they'll be stacking back a little bit, and particularly when they bear away at the windward mark, they'll be stacking right back and dipping that wing down so they can bear away without cartwheeling. They are such a spectacle all the time, but in those fresh to frightening, they are one of the best boats to watch.
Yeah, they're certainly a quick boat, and they're the fastest monohull out there that's non-foiling these days. And just the teamwork that you've got to create with the three sailors on board, it's just magic to watch when they're at their best. So here we got on screen, we've got Smeg, Nathan McNamara, Ched, and who else was on board Smeg, Steve? I just lost their name there.
Jack Taylor.
Jack Taylor, yeah. So one of the front runners out of Sydney got them today. They'll definitely be on the pace. And as you can see, they've got North Sails on. Big supporter of the 18s, North Sails out of Sydney.
The going into the crew work again is that things to watch if you're not familiar with the 18s is that they all interlock their legs and they do move as one. The forward hand tends to go in first if something has to happen. These guys have always been big, strong beasts, but amazing tactics in their heads. They're sitting there pulling the tactics, but they're also doing some of the heavy lifting. said earlier about the spinnakers and that sort of thing. They were much bigger in the old days, but they're now much flatter, so they're a lot heavier, so there's much more strength required and still be agile on the wire.
Yeah, it looks like we've got one of the favourites there, Rag and Famish.
Yep,
on the screen now. So they'll just be looking upwind and checking out the wind and see where their race is going to take them.
Yeah, that forward hander, he'll be just sitting there pivoting his head around and just feeding input into the skipper all the time, just sitting there going puff to the left, puff to the right, glass in front.
Yeah, it looks like we're just getting ready for a race here. So the postponement flag's down and we're getting ready for the 5-minute gun. And we've got Harry Price in Rag and Famish, Max Paul. Max Paul's one of the greatest young sailors also to come out of Australia.
5 minutes to go, we've
great.
just been called. We're just looking at what flags are on the start boat. You should, within a few seconds, see what the blue Peter come up.
Yeah, we've got Dave Hayter there just at the weather end or the start boat end of the start line. He's got that big foot on his sail. Shore Partners just coming up near the start boat. They're just testing the wind there. That's Emma, Brandon and Alex.
Once again, we're claiming that as a Queensland boat.
Yeah, yep. Here's Dave Hayter, local legend. Dave's just testing the wind there, and it looks like that 5-minute flag might be up, Steve. I just can't see it here on screen.
Looks like, I thought it was a blue Peter I could see.
Yeah, 5-minute is up, so we're just having a little bit of trouble seeing that here on the screen, but the boats are now in sequence.
It is definitely up now.
Yeah, and Mark, what are you seeing last minute before this race starts? What are you seeing up course, Mark?
It's pretty consistent. There's not a lot of... It doesn't look like there's too many holes or anything like that. It's like just a nice, consistent breeze. But probably about the only thing that there could be, as we said before, is a couple of little local wind shifts that might happen around the end of Green Island. And then, of course, the tidal influence coming out of Loader Creek on the right-hand side of the course.
Yeah, and how much wind are you seeing up there, Mark, at the top mark?
Well, actually, it's pretty consistent all up and down, I'd say. It's what we're seeing down here near the start boat. It is actually looking like it's much the same up there at the moment. So
yeah, we're probably seeing 6 knots, eh?
Yep, it's about that. It's probably just enough to get us to start, and we'll see how we go from there.
Yeah, fantastic, and we'll probably start to see the boats favour the pin end or the left-hand end of the start line here, trying to get away in clean air if they can. But we're inside the last probably 2 minutes there, Steve, I think it is.
Yeah, it's a bit over 2 minutes, but yep. When we see that blue flag with the white dot in the middle, when that comes down, that's 1 minute to go.
Yeah, nice.
So they're just running the line here.
Yeah, they're just running the line. They're coming back. You can see the angle of the boats. The pin end looks favoured. The way they're sailing more downwind away from that pin end. And, yeah, I think some of the boats will definitely be trying to start towards that pin end line. You see the clouds building up in the south there from the drone footage. So they're going to be factoring in all that stuff, thinking about where the clouds are, where the best wind is on the racecourse currently, and trying to come up with their race plan.
Yep, just circling around there.
Yeah, we're just coming into screen here. We've got Yandu and then 6th. So Yandu definitely will have eyes on this race course. Those guys will definitely know what's happening here, having grown up here. So they're up near the start boat, just passing the back end of the start boat now. So we're inside the last minute and a half, and the boats will start jockeying into position. Key thing here is just to keep your speed up. It is light winds, and the boats take a little while to build speed, so you don't want to sit and prop for too long. You want to keep that speed going over both the sails and the foils in the water. Here we go. We're just coming up, and we've got 1 minute to go. So we're inside. We're inside the last minute here. So we're just counting down. About 50 seconds to go. Dave Hayter at the boat end there, Bigfoot. Here we've got someone at the port end. On port tack, it's...
got no rights?
Yeah, got no rights. A bit dangerous on port, but you can be a brave soul. We've got 30 seconds to go. Someone's taking a little dip under there onto port tack. Maybe with the outgoing current, they...
Probably is there, Adrian. I think you're right.
What's the time? It's coming up nearly to 1 o'clock, so the current's going out. We've got 15 inside the last few here.
10 seconds.
And the most lured boat here may not lay this start pin, the orange start mark. Here we go, few seconds. 2, 1, you hear the gun, and we're off. So it looks like we've got a Queenslander at the boat end there with Dave Hayter in Bigfoot, Shore and Partners. So it's a clear start. Fisher Paykel just tacking from the boat end. Not a bad idea because I'll get into clean air straight away. And as you can see, that boat's moving quite quickly on port tack. I just don't have a visual on who the pin end boat is there, Steve. Have you got a
I can't see
visual
that
on them?
No, but that's Rag and Famish tacking onto port. Seems to be the call.
Yeah, it looks like the guys who started at the pin are all 3 on the trapeze. They're quite powered up, so they're going okay. There's someone with a spinnaker up there late. There's a boat there just on screen coming back to the start. They must have been late, had a problem.
I think that's Lazarus.
Lazarus, is it?
Yep. Still can't work out who that boat is.
I think that is Lazarus, isn't it?
Anyway, Fisher Paykel doing well there.
Yeah, Fisher Paykel. They've tacked near the boat end and they've got away. That's Kurt and Brett Van Munster, Thomas Quigley. So they've got out into clean space and they'll be making that boat go as quick as they can. Just on screen there, we've got the 18-footers cafe, bar and restaurant.
Seems to be a little bit better breeze on the ones that went out to the right.
Just Fisher Paykel out a window now and they're all stretching out in the gusts there. Looks like Brett Van Munster steering.
And Shore and Partners there going...
Yeah, we're in the middle of the course here. They're going around us, so it's pretty cool. Just in screen there, we've got the 18-footers cafe, bar and restaurant. And then back onto Fisher Paykel. They're looking pretty good here at the moment. There's an old saying in sailing, sail up current first. And with this outgoing current, Fisher Paykel is definitely sailing up current first. So, if this storm activity comes from the south, they'll be the first ones into it. So it'll just be really interesting to see how it ends for them.
Yes, Adrian, that's quite right. Those Fisher Paykel going to the current, and when they tack, they'll have actually tide pushing them, and so they'll have the appearance of another knot of wind speed. Yeah,
definitely. It's hard to see from here, but the boats in the left-hand side may don't look as Fisher Paykel, but what we're seeing on the screen here, what are we seeing on the racecourse, Mark? Yep.
Does affect that breeze coming from that northeast direction.
Yeah, for sure. We're right up, tucked up underneath Green Island, so it definitely will be shifty. So those sailors will be looking for those little puffs of wind or the extra fuel to make their boats go faster. So have you got any thoughts, Mark, at this early stage on who might be leading the race there?
From our vantage point, gee whiz. Look, I think, as you said, those guys going right are probably going to have come out of them pretty well, but Actually, we've got C-Tech doing really, really well with Yandu and Kitchen Maker up the middle. I actually probably think that they've probably got the right advantage. They're still heading out to the right at the moment, but they're sort of heading up the middle of the track, and they'll probably get that advantage, I think, from those that have headed off to the left and much further over.
Yeah, we just had on screen there second and she was one of my tips for the day, light air flyer. So we'll see how Emma pans out. She looks like they're heading to the right, and you can see there in the screen those big dark storm clouds building up in the south on the right-hand side of the racetrack.
Just looking across the course there seems to be some good little pressure in the middle of the course. So picking the shifts, what Tom Needham would be doing on Yandu would be a good move. But with some people banging each corners, it would be very hard to pick who's in the best. But I think it does look like there's a little bit of pressure in the middle of the paddock.
Yeah, we've got Wealth there, our sponsor for the day, and we can see their team on port tack. So Yandu looks like they're getting to the right of the course. Also maybe Smeg getting to the right as well. So all the
a good bit of breeze.
yeah, you're just seeing Smeg on the screen there. Everyone's fully out on trapeze, weights forward. The noses are down, keeping that weight forward and reducing the drag of that big wide transom. So it looks like all the key players are getting out to the right, hey?
It certainly looks that way.
Yeah, we've got Smeg on screen. And Yandu, it looks like Steve there, just to the on their left-hand side.
They just come out of a glassy patch. What was that? They're travelling quite well.
Yeah. You ready to race to the top mark in a second?
Yeah. Yep. When they come together at the Windward Mark, it'll be interesting to see where they all are.
You can see some wind there. Yandu's in a little bit of a pressure there, maybe. Just look like they're slightly higher than the boat to leeward there.
Yeah.
So that'll be, Tommy Needham and Lewis Brake, Fang Warren. They'll be trying to eke out every little inch of boat speed in that boat. One of the hot favourites, I think, for this event. Lewis told me he'd been, making sure the finish on the boat was perfect for this first day, the light air.
They just seem to be that couple of degrees higher than is that C-Tech in the foreground.
Yeah, I wasn't sure exactly who that was, but I'm getting a bit of a snapshot out of the window here, and those storm clouds are definitely rolling in. They're looking more fearsome out here to the south of Brisbane. So, maybe in the next hour or so, we might see some big changes on the race course. So let's just keep our eye out for it.
So the boats are now starting to converge. Yep. So they're seem to be converging now. So some of the ones down on the right, so Yandu and whatnot, have tacked, and they're now heading back. So it'll be interesting to see where they all come up with each other.
Yeah, Mark, are you at the top mark there?
Yeah, we've just got here now. Looks like Lazarus is going to be first one around. Certainly those guys that went right out to the right, I think the breeze has died on them. So they're really struggling in there for pressure. The guys that have come up the middle and the left side of the course now, they're certainly looking pretty famous. I think they're probably going to end up sneaking in ahead of those that went to the right.
Yeah, okay, so Lazarus, he's another local lad, Tom Tunick. Tom did all of his formative years sailing on Moreton Bay here.
And the Gold Coast.
Yeah, and the Gold Coast. So that's great to see a Queenslander up the front. He definitely knows this part of the bay, and he's around the mark first there, Lazarus Capital. And he's now off to the hitch mark. And in another 10 seconds or so, we'll see that big spinnaker go up, and they'll be flying downwind to the bottom mark. So
they're well clear too.
Yeah, they're well clear. They're miles in front, and they were the pin end boat actually at the start line. So they hit their straps early. We'll be seeing that spinnaker go up any second now. Yeah, and as you can see, Lazarus is, they've got their spinnaker up and on for first leg. So it's fantastic to see that young team showing clean heels. And now we've got some of the key players coming into the top mark. You can see Rag and Famish there.
There's Kitchen Maker at the back there.
Yep. And second boat coming around the hitch mark. So I would say Lazarus is over a minute ahead here at the moment. Got an unassailable lead. It'll be hard to lose from here, that's for sure. Who's second around there, Mark?
Just going for the kite right now.
Yeah, copy.
Then we've got Rag and Famish.
We might go to you for a second, Mark, because we just find it hard to pick up on the screen. So give us a rundown on where they're at, Mark.
So Rag and Famish have just come around to the hitch mark now. They've just turning around now, so they're third. We've got Smeg next in fourth. Then there'll be in fifth place will be Balmain by the looks of it, and sixth in what's that make it? Sixth in sixth. Isn't that a tongue twister?
Yeah, and have you seen Yandu yet?
Yeah. Then there's after sixth is Kitchen Maker, and then Yandu's right behind them. So that they're up there. And we've just seen Wealth go around the top mark with SeaTech not far behind them. So that's the first of the Queensland boats.
Yeah, great. And have you had eyes, Mark, on Dave Hayter, our local legend? Where's Dave?
Dave's he's still making his way up he came up the left side of the course at the end there, so not a lot of pressure for him at the moment. SeaTech's just come around Wealth, so they're next around now.
Yeah, you see Yandu in screen there. They've got a little bit of a wrap in their spinnaker, or a wine glass we call it, but it's just blowing out. And
all clear. SeaTech have got clear. The same, just theirs is popped now, so that's good.
Yep.
The Wealth boys are just going for their spinnaker now, and then we've got Shaw and Partners following them.
Yeah, fantastic. So they'll all be trying to hold a clear lane of wind on that downwind run, hoping that no one comes in from behind and takes their breeze. But you can see the lead that Lazarus got is just, it's huge. What a way to start the regatta.
Yeah, and just watch the crews here. They're a fine balance of powering the boat up to go fast, but steering away from the bottom mark. So it's just that fine line of not trying to do too much power in this light breeze.
They might be the light air flyers, Tom Kunick and his team.
He's no stranger to this bay, and certainly been in SKIFFS for a long time now.
Yeah, for sure. Seems like yesterday that Tom was learning to sail in his allotment here on Moreton Bay, and they definitely grow up quick.
And 4 pines, I think it is.
It seems like going up the middle. I think this was way to go rather than banging a corner.
After that will be 18-footers, Bar and Grill and Van Munster. So.
Yeah, copy. So it looks like, the right-hand side didn't pay at all. So Van Munster was early to tack and got out to that right-hand side. So definitely looks like the left-hand side of the racetrack was
maybe there's just not enough run in the tide at this stage, so maybe the next race, but really you just got to sail where the breeze is.
Yeah, so just here we've got Wealth just on the screen and Shaw and Partners. You can see there the water's a bit chopped up. It might be some of the spectator fleet, so there's a little bit of bump there. All the teams will be looking for that maximum power, trying to drive those boats forward towards the bottom mark.
And every little puff they'll be trying to bear away, ride it up in the lull, keep the boat powered up, but not too much. So you're seeing some of those boats only have one trapeze at the moment, and that's that balance of having enough power to keep it going, but not too much that you're going away from the bottom mark.
You can see the different angles there, Steve, with Lazarus. Exactly. Oh, is that Rag and Famish, actually? Rag and Famish compared to the white spinnaker back behind them. Looks like Rag and Famish is sailing a little bit lower angle, getting to that bottom mark more efficiently.
Yeah, they've just powered up a little bit now, but they're certainly making better headway than the other boats, so in a bit better breeze.
Yep. Yeah, Rag's one of the favourites. You know, they've had a big summer down in Sydney, and definitely. So who have we got? Wealth there.
There's Wealth there. Yep. Queensland boys. But, once again, they've all had hundreds of hours on this bay, and you can see Angus out there on the wire with his big cricketer's hat, and Josh, the skipper, just powering the boat up a bit, and out comes George.
Yeah, Mark, what are you seeing at the top mark there now?
We're sort of about halfway down the course here. The boats behind are really coming down with a bit of breeze at the moment. It hasn't quite hit those in front, so we've got Wealth and Shaw and Partners just ahead of us. But yeah, we've got the boats coming behind us here. Noakes, Fisher and Pykle, they're all got 3 on the wire at the moment. They're really moving.
So we've had a breeze increase at the top of the course, eh?
Certainly looks like it. Yeah, there's an extra couple of knots here for sure.
Yeah, I've just got a visual on Noakes there, and you know they're fully powered up. They've got 3 on the string. They're bringing that new breeze down.
You see, just pushed in a bit harder.
Yeah, here we go. That's everyone's out on the wing there, just trying to balance that boat.
The main sheet running in just to balance it as it dies off. It's a real precision sort of thing at the moment.
Yeah, you just got a little snapshot of Lazarus. They're just running away with this race at the moment. It'd be interesting to know what the guys weigh, you know, like sometimes if you're a little bit lighter in this light area, you definitely can have a boat speed advantage. So maybe one thing we'll have a look at when we hit the boat park this afternoon, we'll see how big these guys are, but they're definitely light air flyers right at the minute. They're just running away with this race.
And being that far in front, they can keep a loose cover on the boats behind them, seeing where they're going, and just really pick where the wind's coming.
The that means the boats are going quite quick. You know, we're probably between 12 knots on the plane at the moment.
Looks like they're just jibing there, some of those. Just one of them.
Yeah, one's jibing there. We have 6 there, turning and jibing and heading in. So we're going to do 2 laps of this windward fluid course, so they'll be back up to the orange spinnaker of 6th, just on screen now. You see it's right in the distance there, with a black dot.
They're getting close to doing a drop, I would imagine, sometime soon. The bottom mark is about 0.4 of a kilometre below the start line, so it's about just short of a 2 kilometre windward for this next one.
Yeah, we've got 6. We've got Lazarus on screen there now. And they're definitely powering towards the bottom mark. You can see that wake out the back of the boat. And, yeah, they're definitely moving down the racetrack now with plenty of pressure. Not as much traffic on Moreton Bay as Sydney Harbour, so the guys are probably breathing a little bit easier. They don't have to dodge cargo ships and seaplanes, Steve.
No, that's right. Just keep an eye out for the dugongs, but not that they're savage. But what they'll be doing right now, Lazarus, is going, where are we going? So when the kite comes down, where are we going? Where's the breeze?
Yeah, for sure. They just want to hold this lead. They'll be trying to just cover the rest of the fleet, loose cover, and try to hold this lead. But
drop in the kite now.
It's pretty. The lead they've got, they're
phenomenal.
They're way ahead of the rest of the fleet. What way to start a regatta for their confidence? They'll just be beaming the stuff. They'll be telling everyone how they did it and which way they went.
You see that there's 2 bottom marks. It's a gate, so
Yep.
you can pick it which side. It's quite common in racing around now.
Yeah, it looks like the gate on the left-hand side of the screen is the favoured gate, so it's the least distance to the top mark. You can see Lazarus sailing away from it now. And yeah, we've got a committee boat there in picture. And taking back across the fleet now, and they'll just be consolidating their position on the race course, so making sure no one can cross them.
So you can see in that picture there's a few shiny patches, and there's a few patches where there's a little bit more breeze, and the forward hand going to windward will be looking for that all the time. Probably sheet hands looking. The main sheet hand is probably looking for that on the way downhill.
Yeah, you can see the second boat hasn't even got around the gate yet, going to the same gate as Lazarus. It's just coming in screen now. And yeah, Lazarus is just right away with this race at the moment. We've got Finn Sport. They're going to be second around. So that's Angus Williams, Higgin York, and Joel Turner. Joel Turner's another local sailing legend. Joel spent, 10 years in the Australian Olympic development system, sailing 49ers, so Joel definitely knows this neck of the woods as well.
Can we claim him as a Queensland boat as well?
100%. We're claiming them all. This is state of origin, mate. Pretty fired up to see all these young Queenslanders sailing these boats. And it looks like we had Rag and Famish. Is that Rag there? Go to the right hand mark.
Looks like it, yes.
Yeah, so they're going around now, Rag and Famish, and we've got Smeg going on the left hand mark. So that first five boats is quite close. Screws there, just bending in a little bit, get breezes down. Yeah, Mark, what's happening up the track there, Mark, on the racetrack? What are you seeing?
Definitely, I think we've got a little bit of slightly less breeze the further down the course we're going. It's certainly a lot lighter down here than it was when we were chasing them around at the top mark. Real split as well coming downwind. Doesn't look like there's been any real movements, but I think potentially there's some that have gone a lot deeper out to the right coming down, and they look like they're coming back with a bit of pressure in towards the gates.
Yeah, fantastic. And Mark, that first boat, Lazarus, they were miles in front. What were your thoughts there?
That was pretty amazing and pretty special to watch, to be honest. I think if we remember, they were one of the boats that went up the middle of the course. So, yeah, I think either middle or maybe slightly to the left is probably going to pay off.
Yeah, we got it totally wrong from the mothership here. We were looking out to the right, having a look at all those storm clouds, and yeah, so tricky course, eh?
Yeah, and a lot of that rain, it is definitely getting a bit closer that I can see. Like it's going to pass us inland though, so we'll stay out here catching the rays, and everyone else hopefully they're shutting their windows back at home.
Yeah, we've got Yandu in screen there now with Tom Needham bending his knees. Big Lewis brake trying to hook up, but there's not quite enough pressure to get Big Louis 100 kilos of prime Queensland beef trying to swing it down, but Louis can't quite get out there with not enough power. So
yeah, there's a lot of shiny patches out on the bay.
Yep. Yeah, we've got a few big positional changes coming down towards the bottom mark here.
We've got Wealth pushing the Oak.
Yeah, we've got Royal Oak's back in the picture.
And Marine Outlet's Van Munster boat, it was second last at the top mark, and here they are now, just about to come in. When they got around the top mark, they actually sailed a much deeper line than everyone else. They must have had a bit more pressure when they rounded the mark, and they managed to be able to come down and basically sail a shorter distance, and that's how they've caught up.
Yeah, fantastic. So there's a big group of boats coming in here. We've got Marine Outlet, I think. We've got Wealth. We've got Brett Van Munster.
Wealth seems to have parked. Are they trying to drop the kite? Looks like it is.
Yeah, they might be dropping a bit too early there, Steve. Looks like the breeze has gone a bit light. That big red spinnaker will get pulled away in a minute. marine outlets going around the outside potentially.
Came in with a bit more pace by the looks of it, didn't they?
Yep. Really hard when you get caught wide like that.
Yeah.
There's no wind.
And Bigfoot's just behind them by the looks of it too.
Yep, Fisher Pikeal. So the boat on the left of the screen, you know, they're struggling with the breeze at the moment. The weather boats are taking their wind, and that's a very difficult position to be. But we see Lazarus just streaking away up the course there.
Powered up, going for it.
Yep. Amazing here. They're just putting in attack. 3 crew will change sides.
Run through, hook up, go out, link legs, go forward.
Nautical ballet.
You want to stick with this tack now? So they've come out.
It's amazing how uncomfortable it is if your legs aren't linked.
Yep.
Keep you on that side.
But Lazarus.
Stick with these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, Harry wants us on the finish line.
He wants us on the finish line.
A steady race course like
Finish at
this.
the top.
Bottom.
Oh, we just got Rag and Famish outside our window of the mothership here.
You can maybe go halfway
They're
up
all
with it
bent
there.
knees, so that means they don't have a lot of wind right where we are at the moment.
Whereas Lazarus, you can see them fully stretched and going.
Yeah, definitely. And the crews on the Rag and Famish are looking upwind, trying to find where that best wind is. So they're heading to the right-hand side of the course again. Hopefully we didn't jinx them and they find a bit of breeze in that right-hand side. It's Harry Price, Max Paul. You know, Harry's just got back from New Zealand with the Moth World, so he's definitely will be tuned up with what the breeze is doing. But on screen we've got Lazarus there, and you know, they're just ripping up the race course.
Got the best pressure of all of them.
Yeah, for sure. You can see all 3 crews stretched out. That's why I'm thinking they might be a small crew. They're just all stretched out, keeping that boat powered up.
Okay, what do you got there, Mark? Are you got a picture on it? What the team's doing there, the 18-footers cafe?
Yeah, they've sort of got 2 on the wire. Their forward hands just sitting in on the boat at the moment, but it's just that marginal breeze at the moment between 2 and 3 strings. So I think there seems to be a bit more pressure, and I think there's probably been a little bit more of a left shift again. It certainly seems that way from just the angle of the gate mark as well, and just where they're all coming out. So we will see how far these guys come out. We're going to try to move our way back up the course a little bit and see what it's looked like up there as well.
Thanks, Mark. But like Adrian says, the crew work and the rig setup is really sensitive in this light breeze.
Yeah, definitely, Steve. We've got Lazarus on the view here. And it looks like, you know, they've got different sails compared to the rest of the fleet. You know, they don't have the dark film, you know, the carbon fibre black sail material. They've got a lighter cloth colour. And I'm actually just looking out of the window here. We've got Yandu crossing the bow of our boat. And they're all stretched out fully.
But, yeah, like Lazarus, so it's just these windows of breeze that the people are capturing.
Yep.
And yeah, the black sails don't necessarily be faster. They will last longer, from what I've heard. But yeah, if you've got the boat tuned in with the rig and the sails cut right and your crew in balance, it shows you that's what Lazarus is doing.
Yeah, definitely. We're still seeing that cloud build up to the south there. So hopefully, you know, we get enough wind, the wind stays in, and we just complete this race. I'm just looking out the window here at Shaw and Partners go past, and it's looking pretty light. All the crews are bending their knees there on Shaw and Partners. So, yeah, Lazarus looks like they're definitely got more wind up the course.
Yeah.
Wonder what the banter would be on board, Steve. You know, what would young Tom be talking to his crew about here?
Different teams are different. Some of the people I saw with, people would have to check your pulse that you're awake. just because you did your own job and you knew what your crew was going to do. I think this crew had to come, they know each other well, but they probably haven't sailed together all the time, so there would be a fair bit of communication. There'd be someone who would have an owl head who would be pivoting around looking, where's the breeze? That's what this one would be talking, I'd imagine, because they can't rely on telepathic, because they don't know each other that well.
Yeah, or they might be pinching themselves and thinking, wow, how could we be doing this? We're miles in front. So it's just fantastic. And Yandu just on screen there. Tommy Needham, big Lewis brake, leaning forward there, keeping that stern out. And then we've got Fang Warren in the middle. So you can see the crews there turning around all the time, looking for the best breeze, trying to find where that best wind is. Lewis is bending his knees there again, having a look over his shoulder.
Yeah,
and, you know, Tom's just locked in, concentrating, steering that boat as straight as he can while, you know, Fang and Lewis look around for the best breeze. So sign of a great team is the skipper locked in and the crew looking for those little slight differences in wind. Here they go for attack, but we've got Smeg in screen now.
But really important to have the crew crouching like that to minimise the amount of skippers steering to keep them out there. Every time the tiller moves, that's a little handbrake. So, the crew crouching enables the skipper to steer the proper course and still keep it powered up.
Yeah, you can see the crews there on Smeg just bending their knees as the lighter winds approach the boat. So the more wind that approaches the boat, the crews straighten out and leverage all that power that they're using. So we've got one of the crew members there just gone right into the boat. They're setting up for attack.
Running out, try to keep the weight forward for the tack. A little bit of a pump there to try and accelerate out and then get back into balance. Just notice how far forward the skipper's feet are, and if you can watch us again tomorrow and see how far back they are with more breeze. Here they are.
Here we've got
the other Queensland team, Joel Turner in it.
Yep. Marine Solicitors. So all the teams like close together there, just keeping their weight connected, keeping that weight forward.
Lazarus at the windward mark.
Yeah, what are you seeing up there, Mark? How's the breeze?
Really, there's not too many holes, and we're just seeing Lazarus at the top mark now, just approaching the hitch mark. So they've still got a very, very good lead over the next couple of boats in Rag and Famish and Finport.
Yeah, we might get a quick time on that, and you know, it looks like they're over a minute ahead.
For those wondering what that hitch mark or a clearance mark in big fleets, and particularly in windy conditions, it separates the fleet a little bit, so minimising port and starboards on the windward mark.
Yeah, here we go. We've got Shaw and Partners on screen now. Just going downwind. Once again, all the crews forward. You know, the winds aren't strong enough yet to bring that crew weight back, and we've got Lazarus on screen ripping downwind for the last time. They're definitely going to take away this race win today here. You just see one of the crew members in the boat there, just they might be just tidying up the spinnaker halyard or just making sure everything's ready to run if they've got to change direction with a jibe or drop the spinnaker. But yeah, he's looks like he's feeding some ropes maybe out the back of the boat. They're doing a little bit of tidy up there.
Who we got rounding the windward mark there, Mark?
Finport's second around. They're probably about a minute 20 or so behind.
Yeah, wow.
Rag and Famish next around, they'll be another 5 seconds or so. So, yeah, nice and close second and third, but Well, actually, we probably should say Daylight second, and yeah.
Yeah. Rag's done well to stay up there and solidify a top 3 finish.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Max Paul and Harry Price, they're at the top of their game, so they'll be definitely chipping away every leg of the course, trying to consolidate their position on the race course. Looks like a little bit of rain there, Steve, on the land.
Yep.
We've got that aerial shot of Lazarus here. Tom Koenig steering the boat accurately with the team.
Going downwind, you have the main sheet hand doing a bit more balance rather than the forward hand, who's just got to lock in and make sure his kite's set perfectly.
Yeah, it looks like Josh and Paddy are doing a great job just balancing that boat. Tom's got a bit of a different position. He's halfway in on the wing steering the boat. He looked really comfortable there going downwind. So, yeah, they look very comfortable in this wind. They'll be at the finish, and some of the boats won't even be getting to the top mark. Yeah. Yeah, so this race, it looks like it's a 3-lapper. So, wow, really long course for this light wind. We've just got Smeg on screen there, just put their spinnaker up. And it's going to be a tough day for these guys. 3 laps in this really light wind. Nathan McNamara, Jack Taylor and Jed Cruikshank on Smeg. We've got a bit of an overhead view there of Lazarus.
Looks like he's a bit light there, doesn't it?
Yeah, just wondering what's going on there. As Lazarus is, must be just Tom there, that aerial view. He's just sitting in the back of the boat there.
Yeah.
Bit of a different view. Here that's Yandu going around the top mark.
And 6 coming behind him.
6th, still in 6th.
6th in 6. Yeah, we've got Lazarus on screen there, and they just look so comfortable downwind here. This position with Tom sitting in and the other 2 taking on those duties of trimming the boat. Tom just looks so at home there. He's not under pressure, trying to stretch out. He'd just be very comfortable there steering that boat. So, yeah, he's doing a great job. Little bit of a different technique to some of the others where they've got the skipper out steering the boat, Steve.
Yeah, it's really up to the skipper preference. However, they can be the most stable. So he's obviously happy to slide in and out, whereas there's other skippers that just want to lock in and be really precise. So it's credit to Tom. That's how he does it, and it's working.
Yeah, it's definitely working, that's for sure. They're just going to run away with this victory here today. You see the top of the course there. There's still boats still coming around the top mark.
Balmain.
And it's really, really soft winds. We've got Balmain there. Got Lazarus in view again. Stuff go with a huge race wind like this. I wonder if they'll ever think about shortening the course here, Steve. You know, they've set 3 laps, and it just seems like a long way to go for 3 laps in this really light wind.
Well, you know, Royal Queensland do have a very professional race team. Their race officials, they would have been looking at the clocks. How long it's taking them to get through the laps. There is a maximum time and they would be keeping an eye on that. There's complaints both ways, I guess. A long race, and people say, why don't we just finish it earlier? And others say, well, we're catching up, we want to keep it going. But very professional team here at Royal Queensland, and they would be very conscious of the time.
Yeah, we've got C-Tech rounding the top mark for that second time, and just behind them, just didn't get a view on that. Who's that, Steve? Second, just behind C-Tech. Sean Partner's great. So C-Tech...
Victorian team.
Yeah, the Victorian team with Scotty Cunningham, Trent Neighbour and Dave Cunningham. Then we've got Sean Partners.
Is that Beck or Emma?
That's
Emma Rankin.
Yeah, and Brandon and Alex Watson.
Another Queenslander, Alex. We've got to keep saying the Queensland boats.
Well, the Nationals is in Queensland, so we're going to plug them for sure. Yandu going downwind there. Famous 18-foot skiff family, Yandu, with John winning. That logo's been around for ever and a day. I actually saw John, I think, in the foyer of the yacht club this morning, here to support the fleet.
Yeah, it's a long-time family logo, that one.
Yeah, it's a little bit like, you see recently young Beashall won the 16-foot skiff nationals, and, fourth generation name in sailing, winning regattas, big regattas. So, fantastic to see the Beashall name at the top of the 16 fleet. I'm sure Joel, he's had a go in the 18s, and I'm sure we'll see his face in the 18s very soon, hopefully.
Because you campaigned with Adam for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, sailed 470s years and years ago with Joel's dad, Adam Beashall. Adam's one of the best pro sailors the planet's got, and they come from an amazing lineage of sailors. Brother Colin, Olympian, bronze medalist, and then you've got Kenny Beashall. His name's synonymous with the 18-foot skiff fleet, that's for sure. There's even that Beashall boy in Sydney Harbour named after the Beashall family. So, yeah, some of these names are long-time sailors in the 18-foot skiff fleet. Here we go. Lazarus looks like they're maybe setting up to jibe here. Got Tom standing up.
Nope, sitting down. Oh, out on the wire.
Out on the wire. So this is the first time we've seen 3 on the string for Lazarus.
Look at them accelerate too, yeah.
Yeah, really accelerating there. Just trying to look out the window here, and I can't see any more breeze, but that's the first time they're definitely looking really slick downwind there. You see there the breeze is definitely shut down over the back end of the course.
Yeah, some of those boats barely making a wave.
Yeah, and all the crew are in on the trapeze. While Lazarus is just ripping down the racetrack. Here we go. They're setting up for
jibe.
Setting up for a drop. So that forward hand's pulling that big spinnaker down, stuffing it into a bag. The middleman taking on the main sheet, balancing the boat.
Look at the boat go. They got a fair bit of breeze there.
Yeah, wow. Lazarus is going to be coming around the bottom mark, and we've still got 3 boats going around the top mark. This is pretty amazing. I remember coaching Tom at a junior regatta, actually right here on this waters. It was a selection for an Australian team, and I just remember he was like the Iceman, so level emotionally. So he's been a great student of the sport for a long, long time. So they're back going upwind here.
And what's this boat here? He's got a bit of pressure on. Must be a bit of a wind shift here, so they're dropping late and having to come in hot.
Yeah.
To sail.
Yep. Yeah, that angle they're coming back into the bottom marks is quite unusual. They're two two sailing or just not using the spinnaker. They've just got the main and jib. We've got Lazarus back on screen. They must have a bit of pressure here because what's happened here? I just saw the mainsail backwind a bit, and that's normally a sign that they've got a bit of pressure on. So
they're certainly going forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Fast.
Definitely going fast forward.
It looks like, yeah, it's sheeted out a long way. The boom's a long way from the centre line. So they're two sailing there.
Yep, absolutely. And this is that southerly change that I was talking about earlier today. I think we've had a big wind shift here, Steve. And Lazarus is actually, I'm looking out the window. I can just see him out the window there. They're got the sheets eased. They're definitely not going upwind here. They're reaching at the moment.
And the next two boats, Rag and Finport, they've caught up a long way.
Wow, they're absolutely hauling the mail. They're reaching there. It's one of. What are we seeing on the race course there, Mark?
Sorry guys, we're just on the move. Yeah, we're just watching Lazarus. There is definitely a southerly change coming through. We're just near the start-finish line at the moment. A little bit black there as well, and that could be that storm, as we said, pushing through. It's definitely not going to come onto this as a cell, but seeing a southerly change here at the moment.
Yeah, you can just see Lazarus just ripping along there. They're probably up over 20 knots here at the moment. And I just saw young Tom, he had to dodge that huge patch of weed. You know, he bore away. You would have seen the dark patch on the screen. And, yeah, they've got to keep their eyes out. Here they are. Looks like they've come into a light spot here, have they? What are we seeing on the water there, Mark?
I think there's a bit of confusion with the boys in Lazarus as well. They're not sure whether they're still sailing or not. So
looks like they've, I think they only
but
think
it's
two laps
definitely
by
a
the looks of
southerly
it.
change here on this side of the course. But over at Green Island, we've still got the skiffs over there are running down with spinnakers down along Green Island.
Yeah,
not a few hundred metres away.
The course is shortened, so there's some confusion out there amongst all the troops.
They should be going on the top mark.
Yeah, there's a little bit more information here that we need to find out, but it looks like that race may have been shortened. So that huge lead that Lazarus had, you know, they may be just trying to work out what the flags are doing, and let's just keep a close eye on this for a few minutes.
They're going to go right past us outside our window here. We were right in their way.
Oh, yep. Here's Lazarus just coming past us now.
Their jib sort of eased a little bit, so that must be just. And there is puffy breeze on the bay here. There's
they got
glass, and then there's big lines of puff.
There's our mothership there, just in view now. Lazarus cutting across our bow, but you know, we definitely have had that huge southerly change, and that lead that Lazarus had is halved now. They've got boats on their inside or to the right of them. That I've just got Rag and Famish out the window here. Rag and Famish currently, I reckon, would be in the lead.
Yeah, they've got a much better line going now.
They've got a bit of a line there. We'll just see how that goes.
It's quite a fresh.
Leading the race.
Oh, they're going that far.
So the Rag and Famish, they seem to be further back, but they're a long way to windward of Lazarus. So will be interesting when they get to the windward mark. But they're all trucking along pretty fast.
Yeah, it's good to see the 18 starting to fly now with this increase in breeze. I've got Yandu just out the side window here, and I can see they're all swinging it down. Big Louis brake on the front. He's now doesn't have the bent knees.
You see there with Lazarus, Tom's having to dive around, so it's telling us that this breeze is shifty.
Yep.
It looks like a big knock. Then he said, "Well, it's time to tack."
Yeah.
So
putting an attack, hey Steve, to try it. Here we go. I can see out the window here. Yeah, we've got Rag and Famish. They've made a huge lead change. So Rag around the top mark first. Then it's going to be Finn Sport. And then Lazarus is going to maybe get around third, but there's some big changes in the leaderboard here. Pretty exciting racing with this big, huge southerly that's come in. The other issue that they've got to think about, they've got the number 1 rigs on, and so they've got a lot of sail power up, and the crews have really got to start to depower them. So we've got Rag and Famish, Harry Price, actually coming straight at us at the moment.
Yeah.
You can see him out the window there.
He's motoring down fast. He's got a good lead on him now.
Yep, great lead. So that's Max Paul, Harry Price and Finn doing a great job. They're actually only about 50 metres off our... Yeah, just coming past us now. Rag and Famish.
Finnport's doing beautifully too. He's good 3 strings there.
Yeah, they're just literally metres away from us here, Rag and Famish coming past. Big Max Paul hiking out. That's awesome.
Lowering himself down.
Yeah.
He's put his hand behind his head, every kilogram out over the side.
Yeah,
let's power it up.
Just great, isn't it?
And you see them now, they're a little bit further back in the boat. Just starting to get that little nose up a bit, let the boat plane.
Yeah, we've got Finn Sport just coming around us now again. Same thing, the crews are lowering themselves down on the trapeze wires, trying to get that maximum power. And you can really see the spray starting to rip off the back of the boat there. These boats are sort of up around 20 knots now.
They're
and
trying to squeeze a bit of height there too. They've got a bit of main sheet off.
Yep.
Just trying to get some height up there.
And you can see how fast they're going, Rag and Famish compared to your speedboat there, taking a bit of footage. The average family speedboat or fishing boat doesn't keep up with these Formula Ones of the 18-footers. Lazarus now just coming past us again in the mothership. They're only metres off our...
We're on a perfect line to the finish line here.
Port-hand side here. And here we go. Tommy Needham.
No. Tommy Koenig.
Tommy Koenig. And I just saw on Tom Koenig he had Cam McDonald.
Yeah.
So Cam McDonald, he's a legend in the 18-foot skiffs. And we've got Smeg now, just coming past. Smeg literally was millimetres away from us there, Steve. It was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some colourful language coming with their commentary with us on the way here. But
here we've got Lazarus on screen.
Just trying to pinch up to get in through that, just going to make that pin. We're
basically right near the finish line. So here we've got Yandu coming back at us. They're going to have to...
And Smeg here, there you can see Smeg here, they're curling that spinnaker, trying to get that little bit of extra height.
If you look just out of our windows here, we've got Yandu once again missing us by millimetres.
But I just think Smeg, they were just squeezing it to get over the line. Whereas Yandu, they should have a better line there. They'll have it more power on.
Yeah, you can see our mothership just behind the Yandu logo there. We're right in the way of the race course here, but we're getting great footage.
Yeah,
there's Yandu there.
You just see them curling that front edge of the spinnaker just to try and take a bit of power out of it and yet keep the speed going. Just so they can get a bit of height.
Across the finish line there. Fang Warren, Louis Brake and Tom Needham. They'll be happy with that, Steve.
Oh, they've come back really well. It just shows you that the good boats will work their way back up to the front no matter what the adversary.
Yeah, and just the sailboat race is never over to the end. Like if we think half an hour ago, Lazarus had a lead that we're all talking about that was going to be legendary. Race 1, they were a minute and a half ahead, and all of a sudden the wind shifts and the tables are turned, and Lazarus are in third spot. So it just shows you how incredible wind change so rapidly. And it was something we did touch on very briefly early this morning. We had talked about the southerly change. We talked about the storm clouds down in the south of Brisbane there, and that it could affect our racetrack. So it'll see how it affects the rest of the fleet here as they come downwind.
I think some of the other fleet were almost a lap down.
Yeah.
So there's a long way to come.
Yep.
So it's a real challenge for these boats who have finished now. They've a long way in front, so now they've got to sort of have a drink, maybe something to eat, consolidate, save energy, and have a look out of the boat to see where the wind's coming from, because they've got a fair bit of wait until all these other boats finish, and then the race committees restart.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the other thing they're probably thinking about now is, if this wind picks up, how they're going to get these huge number one rigs around the racetrack.
It's Balmain coming through to the finish now.
Yeah, Balmain there. All three strings. Great video footage here, right down the finish line. And you can see Balmain just coming straight at the finish line now. But, the teams will be trying to work out how they're going to get these number one rigs up the breeze range as this southerly strengthens.
That's right. They'll no doubt be pulling their Cunningham on firm as the breeze comes in, and that'll sort of flatten out the sail. Quite often you wait until you're sort of consistently having the sheet off a little bit to windward before you pull it on, but you've got to release it again downwind. It's something that's dynamic all the time. As the breeze comes in, you've got to reset the sail shape.
Yeah, the crews have got all these different ropes at their fingertips, so the sails on these 18-footers are just like a plane wing, basically, and they can change the depth or the power in that sail by pulling all the different strings. So they're always managing that power output, just like a pilot would be changing the angle of attack on a wing, when the flaps at the back of the wing, providing different lift and drag. So it's a really interesting game of...
So we've got 6 coming through the finish, and we've got C-Tech that's not far behind that.
Yeah, 6 coming through now. They're all coming past the media boat now, giving us a wave, telling us to get out of the way. But we're right in amongst the thick of it. They should be used to it because most of them come from Sydney Harbour, so should be no issue. Now, who we got in frame there? C-Tech coming down. Yeah,
the
great.
Victorians, yeah.
Yep, Scotty Cunningham out of Victoria. It's really cool to see the Victorians here. It's not often that you see a Victorian boat.
And then we've got Marine Outlet not far behind them as well. Nice shot of C-Tech there. One of the Brisbane boats, and Brisbane 18-foot Sailing Club has allowed them to use the boat, save them towing it up from Victoria. One big family, all the skiffies.
Yeah, it's cool.
So there we got the Wealth guys from Queensland.
Yep.
And they sailed the C-Tech last year. Josh, Angus and George.
Yep.
And that's their new boat, which they've only had on the water for about 2 months. Brand new boat from the Van Munster factory.
Yeah, I was talking to Brett Van Munster 2 days ago just about some of the projects that his Van Munster boat building has on the go at the moment, and he was sworn to secrecy. He couldn't talk about a lot of it.
So we're speaking about online now, so no one will hear it?
Yeah, so no one will hear it, but Brett's company's gone gangbusters, and he does a lot of stuff for, industry out there. I'm not even going to mention it, but Brett's company's big time into the carbon manufacturing, and it's fantastic to see because, Brett's a second-generation boat-building family here in Australia, and, he's got an amazing company that builds all this high-class carbon materials, not only boats, but for other industries, so it's really cool.
So we've got Fisher and Paykel going through past us now, and you can see them in the middle of the screen. They went a logical way in that first windward, but really got spat out the door by the better wind shifts up the middle that the other boats got. So did everything right on paper, but this is what happens in boat racing. It's there's a lot of variables.
Yeah, absolutely. The variables are insane in this sport, and when you get to see some of these great sailors perform, most of them are all really level. He's gone a bit grey. Last time I saw Brett, his hair was brown, but he's got the salt and pepper in.
You've got to be careful there, Adrian.
We're all getting older, Steve, so...
Yeah, I was talking to someone today about watching you sailing Sabos here, and we don't want to think how many years ago that was.
God, seems like yesterday. So we mustn't have too many boats coming down to the finish.
Was that Bigfoot without a kite? It seems to be coming down the middle.
Yeah, what are we seeing up on the
Voi-
racetrack there, Mark?
Voikobi.
So this breeze is sort of definitely... Yep, no, got you now. Breeze is definitely sort of settled in now and is sort of probably south of southeast at the moment. Definitely a lot more strength in it than what we had earlier. So it's a little bit... Just see those waves on the water a little bit darker than what there was before. So might make it interesting for this next race. They'll have to move the start boat again before we go into this next start, I dare say. And... we'll see where we go from there, but I think some of the boats might have just pulled out of the race. I think Bigfoot hasn't finished, but they look like they're just milling around at the moment now too. So
okay, they may have had a problem and were too far back. But looking at the boats coming down now, they are at different angles to when the first boats came through. The first boats were coming through and were only just making the finish line from the windward mark, whereas these boats now, they're having to drop a couple of jibes in there to get down there.
Yeah, the breeze, I just had a look at the breeze, Steve, just out the window of the boat, and it's actually directly 180, so it's due south, and that's actually an unusual breeze direction here.
See Voikobi having to jibe on the finish line, whereas the previous boats in the finish were struggling to make that pin end, the bottom buoy.
Yeah, I reckon my tip for the afternoon, this breeze is going to pick up with it in the due south. Probably means there's a southerly front coming, and they might have to lug these big number one rigs around the racetrack. So just keep an eye on this weather. Looks like we've got 3 more boats to come down to the finish, and
Bigfoot look like they're still going too.
Bigfoot is still racing, hey?
They must have a problem with their kite.
Yeah, it looks like Bigfoot is still there, just whether they've got some issues with their spinnaker or something. But they've got Shaw and Partners hot on their tail. We've still got the Royal Oaks, Noakes, and 18-footers Bar and Grill just up towards the top end of the course there.
Yeah, we've got Shaw and we've got Bigfoot in the view now. No spinnaker up.
So whether he just misses out, it's hard to see what Shaw and Partners are going to get him or not.
Looks like Bigfoot's got him.
Got through, It's it wouldn't need much further.
It looks like there
there
was something dangling off the bow of Bigfoot there, so we might see they might put the boat over and go and have a look at it.
Yeah, it might be worthwhile to motor over, Mark, and see if we can get a bit of a heads up on what's happening with Bigfoot.
A bit of intel.
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah. I think this is the last boat coming across the line, the Royal Oak Hotel, green spinnaker.
There's a couple up here now.
A couple more, is there?
Yep. There's a yellow and a blue one up the course a bit.
Oh yeah, there we go. 3 more to come.
Such a great thing to see all of the 18s
someone in the water
racing.
at the bow of Bigfoot at the moment. So,
having just done a 12-foot skiff regatta myself in New Zealand, it was sometimes the places are disappointing, but it's great to be close racing. And these are the top boats in the world. Once a year they go across over to Lake Garda and give the challenge to the world, in the European world that is. And these are these Australian boats are some of the top sailors in the world, so it's great to see the best of them here.
Yeah, Steve, did you just do the 12-foot skiff into Dominions in
New Zealand? Correct, that's right, yeah. And they're a good feeder class for the 18s, but it's also a good place for X-18s to go. And there's all the New Zealand guys are all competitive 18-footer sailors as well, and they're putting together another team for SeaTech, for Ginge, and some young guys on board.
Oh, that's tragedy there. That looks like a spinnaker sheet that's come off the spinnaker, maybe. What are they doing?
Oh, they're just going for a drop. Going for a drop.
Just a bit of a bad jibe there. Come in a bit late, I think, and probably misjudged which side of the finish boat they had to go there.
Yep. And have you got any intel, Mark, on Bigfoot? How are they going?
They did have someone swimming up the bow of the boat there just before, but just a little bit too far away from them to grab that. But this seems to be okay there at the moment, that they're all three back in the boat, so they should be good.
May have done a tack pulley.
Yeah, maybe, Mark, before we get the next race underway, it'd be great to go over and just get a bit of intel with the Lazarus guys and have a chat about what went right and what went wrong, and see if you can get some thoughts from those few top boats. That'd be great.
And so now we're just waiting for the regatta committee to look at resetting the course, or if needs be. So there'll be. So we're just waiting to see what if there are any signals on the boat.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a bit of time here, Steve, between races. The race committee will change the course, and they'll get it all set up for the next race, and we'll go into an ad break with Wealth, our main sponsor for the day. So big shout out to Wealth Partners and Deck Hardware, and yeah, we'll just wait till they reset this course.
As a kid growing up here locally, be on the beach most weekends, and the visibility of plastic, 20 years ago was pretty well non-existent, right? You walk down Dalek today and it's everywhere. You get specks of microplastic on the high tide mark, in amongst the dunes, and something that, once you see, you can't unsee. The level of debris we have on our coastlines in Australia are really beginning to be quite alarming. At Wealth, we're really proud to be getting behind this initiative with Parley for the Oceans and having the team actively out removing coastline debris.
As a broker, when I recommend Wealth, I wanted to come down here to see what kind of impact they have. So when I do refer my clients, firstly, they've got great products. This is the only lender that I know that has a product that gives back and recycles all the microplastics into a debit card, which is a really great feature. I know a lot of clients love that.
You see behind me, there's a lot of activity, a lot of boating, and wherever there's humans, there seems to be plastic and rubbish. I lived over 20 years now in Australia. And what I've seen over the last 3 years, I've never seen that before. It seems like even though we're educating more and more about plastic and the pollution, and people are visually seeing it more, and it's still getting worse because we're still producing more and more plastic.
I was motivated today by all the impacts we see from plastics everywhere. You see it every day, part of your life. So whatever little bit we can do to help clean that up and have a positive impact on that, it really means a lot to me. The fact that our organisation cares so deeply and that it's a part of our identity is really important to me as an employee. I think Wealth has gone above and beyond at any cost to be able to have this positive impact. As everyday Australians, we are now consuming the equivalent of a credit card sized worth of plastic each week. From the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat. And that's, quite alarming.
Well, it's definitely scary to think that's how much plastic you're ingesting, the size of a credit card. You don't even know how you would ingest something like that. As a broker, the Wealth and Parley collaboration really does bring that product to the forefront because it's something everyone, especially in Australia, can really get behind. And the lending is something that you do every day, and having the ocean cleanups and how they work with the environment forefront is really exciting.
I've always been very aware of how much plastic gets left around. And I've always just loved the beach, just was always there growing up. So been very motivated to help clean it up. You just don't expect there to be as much as there is.
Showing different people in society what is actually happening is just the number one way to do it. You know, having events like this, it shows them how much impact picking up your rubbish on the side of the road or, you know, doing little things yourself can mean to the environment, right? I've worked in finance for a really long time, and I think companies do forget the impact that general life has on societies. And I think marrying up with someone with a sort of a moral compass like Wealth, it's very hard to find in finance these days. It's a really good partnership, and yeah, I'm really happy to be a part of Wealth.
I guess as Australians, we're really proud of our beaches and where we live. So I just want to be here to help with the cleanup and show that a little impact or a little work will go a long way.
That's why more important than ever is now is where we need to make the change happen. People are upset about it. I think the communities are ready to change. We need the industries to follow, we need the policies to follow, and we need to make this change happen really quickly.
We need to get behind groups like Parley for the Oceans and other NGOs in this space to raise awareness and ensure that we're protecting our blue planet.
Thanks.
Yes, here we are, Steve, and it looks like the race committee's setting a new course. We've got breeze, as we're expecting, out of 180. So the breeze has gone directly south, and, you know, it's quite an unusual direction, generally southeast here in Brisbane. So that's those fronts coming through down on the Gold Coast we were talking about earlier this morning.
Yeah, it's just sort of the weather factors are pushing the base weather around. So, yeah, hopefully we get a steadier breeze. But there is a lot of cloud down to the south, so could get a little bit shifty as those clouds come over.
Yeah, and what are you thinking about the, you know, the wind conditions with the rigs? We've got the number one rigs up. We've got an increase in breeze. Are they going to struggle to get around the racetrack with these big rigs up, Steve?
Not at this stage, I don't think. I think it's, you know, it seems to have settled down. Like when the weather first came in, it was a bit of a puff, a bit stronger. But what we've got now, it seems to have stabilised and back low again. So I think just watching those clouds as they come over, it could get a few more puffs that keep things exciting.
Yeah, and you know, Lazarus, they had such a big lead. You know, we were talking it up here on the commentary boat, thinking that they were just going to be unbeatable, and then, bam, we had a big wind shift, and next minute Lazarus was in third position. What are your thoughts there, Steve?
I'm thinking that they just got to pressure going to come from.
Yeah, well, it looks like we're getting ready for the next race. They have a warning signal, which is a 5-minute preparation period, and that's not far away. The race committee's got the new mark in directly at 180, and so and we look like we just got a bit of comms from the race committee boat. They're trying to get 3 races in today because tomorrow, Steve, could be frightening to fresh. They might have small rigs on as this southerly comes in tonight.
And worth mentioning, there is a corporate day tomorrow, and they do have the luxury vessel, the Yacht Club, where there's officials, government officials, there's friends and family of Royal Queensland and the Brisbane 18-footers club and 18-footer sailors. There's food and beverage. If you look up Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron, you'll probably be able to find a link. There'll still be seats available. So that'll be a great day to see on that boat.
But yeah, it's an amazing boat, that Yacht Club. It's got a bit of a history. It's a big corporate platform these days, but our legendary sailor Grant Warrington found that thing in Hawaii, I believe, in a cane field, and they motored it across the Pacific. And Grant's a big visionary, and he basically, with his business partner, made that platform, and now it's a big entertainment platform that goes around southeast Queensland here, and people have big parties on it. But you know, Grant just finished the Hobart race on his boat Wild Thing, and yeah. So it'll be a great time if you can get out tomorrow, get on the yacht club and come and watch the 18-foot skiffs on the notorious Waterloo Bay. It's going to be fresh to frightening tomorrow, and definitely we'll see some rig busting conditions out here for sure, Steve.
Yep,
We've
that's
just
for
got
sure.
the race committee there on the screen, and they'll be measuring the wind and making sure they've got that top mark dead at 180 with this wind change.
Yeah, we're just waiting on that. We're Mothership's having to move because we are really right in the line of the start boat here, so could be entertaining.
Yeah,
But,
we're right in the middle of the start line at the moment, so we're just up anchoring and getting out of the way so all the boats can race freely. But this race, Steve's going to be a different kettle of fish. You know, we've got stronger winds with the bigger rigs, so we might see some of the bigger crews be able to swing it down and create a bit more power. So it'll be a really interesting race. I'm just having a look up course here out the windows of the Mothership, and there's a few little white caps up in the bay. So, you know, there is some wind coming. So it should be a great afternoon of sailing.
It does look like a good big rig day. There's some holes there, but they should be able to power through it. But yeah, just stay out of the holes as best you can. But it should be a good big rig, I think.
Yeah, well, the teams are allowed 3 different rigs. So two rigs, sorry. Depending on the wind strength, they can decide if they want more power or less power. And so they have a small and a big rig.
And they can reef the second rig. But gone are the days in the War of the Wings where they had ultimate any size they wanted, and they had 4 rigs. But
yeah, well, back in the day when I sailed it, it seems like a lifetime ago, but we had 3 rigs, and it was always a decision to try to find out which rig you were going to plug in. So you'd plug that rig in really late, 20 minutes before the start, and try to get that decision right. We've just got Smeg out the window here. Looks like the crew's just laying down on the boat having a rest. They all look pretty worn out, actually.
it's going to be a long day.
Yeah,
particularly
three races. It's really tough. 3 race day.
Very different toughness. It's your legs will be pumped because of the squatting. But no, it looks like it's a nice. I think it was 5 or 7 knots at the moment. But it's if one of those clouds come across, you could jump that another 10 knots if need be.
Yeah, it could get to 15 really quickly. We're seeing some of the boats just out of our window here. We've got the 18-footers cafe bar restaurant. They're just tuning up. Noakes rigging down to leeward there.
What do we got going across the screen here? That's the Rag and Famish.
Rag and Famish, Harry Price.
Long time supporters of the 18-footers, the Rag and Famish.
Oh, absolutely. And, Harry, he comes from a line of incredible sailors in his family. His sister won a silver medal at the Olympics in London. And, Olivia Price, she was our match racing champion and great advocate for females in sailing. Olivia does a lot of work around, the Sydney beachfront, making sure the girls are all into sailing. I think she just did the America's Cup with the female team from Australia, and it's awesome to see Harry sailing as well.
It's good that the 18s have always been a strong supporter of women in sailing. It's whilst there is a lot of physicality, particularly in the forward hand, the finesse of the skippers has always been welcoming to the 18s. So,
back in the day, remember Vanessa Dudley and Adrian Cahalan? They were the pioneers of the females racing in the 18s. When we had televised 18 racing during the cricket in the 90s, Adrian Cahalan went on to have then a huge career in offshore racing, and she did a few Volvo races, renowned navigator, and it's always great to see the girls in the 18-footers. They're an awesome boat that the girls can compete on an equal playing field with the guys.
Yeah, so it's wonderful to see Emma and Beck on the teams. So, and they mix it up.
No, absolutely. The 16 nationals last year. First boat was female skipper.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So it is a great sport, sailing to. Yeah, it's a great sport to have that female skippers racing the boats.
Well, we can see Bigfoot now. It's got a spinnaker up. That's a good sign. So that works.
Yeah, people just testing the wind and making sure they're set up for the race. You can see out the window here, everyone's checking their gear, trying to make sure that they're
getting some fluids in.
Yeah. Got Wealth Management, our sponsor for the day. Their boat's just out of the window here. And all their crew look spent. They're just laying on the deck trying to suck in those big breaths and get a bit of energy back into the system.
Yeah, they're...
Yeah, we might have a little break here, Steve, and just catch a breath, and we'll wait for this 5-minute gun.
Thank you.
So here we are, race 2, 18-foot skiff nationals, Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. So race 1, Steve, some big changes in the leaderboard. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think Lazarus were lucky up the first one, picked some really good shifts, but that luck ran out and the shifts went the other way, and Rag had a really good race. Yeah, they just sailed solidly the whole way.
Yeah, it's amazing, hey, how quickly things can change. And looks like the race committee's just getting ready to get this second race underway. We're probably inside a few minutes. And they've got the course set at due south. It's 180. And the breeze has actually lightened a little bit. I thought it was going to pick up, but it's once again a little bit soft. I was just up on the bow of the mothership having a look up course. And, we've got about 7 or 8 knots here. So it'll be another interesting race for sure.
And it looks like Bigfoot, they've been able to set a spinnaker, so they must have had a problem with their tack line or something like that.
Yeah, Bigfoot had an issue on that last downwind, hey. They couldn't set a spinnaker, so, they'll be trying to work out what that problem was for sure. But hopefully this next race will be underway really soon. Here we go. So we've got the warning signal. I can just hear it out the side of the mothership.
Let's see.
No.
Where's Wally? So postponement.
We've got an AP. We've got a postponement. Yeah, so that means they're waiting for the wind. The breeze has died again. I'm just having a look up course here, and the breeze has receded a little bit, Steve.
Yeah, that's right up the top of the course. It's actually looking really glassy.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a little bit here, but as you get up to the windward mark, I'm looking at it now, and it's not much there.
No, you can see the boats drifting behind the start boat there. One of the challenges in the sport, hey? We're governed by the weather. Yeah, Steve, so the breeze has gone light, and, we're going to have a little bit of waiting around. We thought that breeze was going to come in, but it's backed off again. Some of these storms around are probably having an effect on the overall wind speed, and the race committee's decided to put a postponement up, and they're just going to wait. So
yeah, they will have rescue boats all the way around the course, and so they're giving wind readings to the race officer, and they've sort of deemed it obviously that it's inconsistent, not fair racing.
Yeah, too light, hey? The breeze is too light to race.
Correct.
So it's. We've just got to sit it out and see if we can get this race underway soon.
Just maybe a quick note, this event is hosted jointly between Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron and the Brisbane 18-footer Sailing Club. The Brisbane 18-footers Club has had a history of over 100 years of racing 18-foot skiffs here in Brisbane. And they actually used to host the events. I've just heard a message over the phone now, over the speakers, that we've got a 15-minute wait. So a little bit of time to try and get this breeze to stabilise. I'm just looking out the window to see, and it is looking very glassy. But the Brisbane 18-footer Sailing Club, the last time they hosted a JJ Gilton, which is effectively the World Championships, was actually on the river. And I did that event, and it was extremely challenging. Probably won't happen there again with all the traffic on the river. But aiming to have these sort of events, like the Australian titles, hosted by Wealth.
Well, Steve, now you're showing your age. It was a while ago that you were doing the that JJ Gilton, and that's the World Championships for the 18-footers. It's a very famous trophy for the class. And, back in the day, the Queenslanders revelled. We had a period in the 50s where we had Ben Lexon. He had that famous boat Taipan, which revolutionised the class. And then, in the very early part of the century, 1930, we had that Aberdare, Toby Werrett. And, Queensland's been such a historic part of the 18-foot skiff class over the years.
And it's interesting, we've actually got the original Taipan on the lawn at RQ at the moment. So if you want to come down and see what Ben Lexon or
Bob Miller
in his day was what he used to be called, his boat was there. Looks antiquated now, but it was just the cutting edge, and people would just shake their head of how advanced it was.
Yeah, and you look at it today and you think it's plywood, and today they're all carbon fibre. And Ben is synonymous with winning the America's Cup. 1983, the boxing kangaroo, John Bertram and his team, and he revolutionised the 18-foot skiff. They went from 5 and 6 crew members. I think Ben took it down to 3. He had a vision that the boats could plane upwind, and so they decreased the crew numbers, and the rest is history. So it's awesome to have that connection, Queensland, with this whole 18-foot skiff movement. It's such a historical group of people.
And what's really good about it is it's still an accessible class. Here in Queensland we have a couple of brand new boats, but there's plenty of people who don't always want to go Olympic pathways, or they just want to sail skiffs, and welcoming to the class. And that's why Bigfoot has main sheet on board, Ben Roxburgh. His dad won a JJ Giltnan years ago, but he came through the juniors here and flying 11s and 29ers.
Yeah, Angus.
Angus was his dad.
Angus was his dad, yeah. Angus won a JJ's, maybe with Spearsy.
Spearsy, that's right. He was on Winfield when they used to allow smoking advertising. But there's a lot of connections just coming through the youth and just getting into sailing, and there's so many choices available. And this is a class that people think is elusive, but it's very welcoming. You come to the lawn and you can talk to anyone here when they're rigging up, as long as they're not rushing to the start line. They would love kids to come and talk, love people coming to talk.
Yeah, it's an amazing class, and I'm just so excited to see some of the youth in the class, some of the young people steering the boats, and it just is so good for the 18-footers. We're just seeing a new generation at the moment coming through. We had the Sevi Jarvins there for a long time. Sevi and that group of youngsters have sort of moved on now, and we've got this new generation of the Harry Prices and the Tom Tunics and the Tom Needhams coming through. So it's exciting times for the 18s.
And the skiffs are a wonderful launch pad for other boats, because you have to understand sail. The boats are more or less a one design. However, the sail shapes, the sail design, the mast designs, these people have to read the sails and go, how do we attune them? How do we want to reshape them? And so there's a lot of innovation still there. And that pays dividends if you want to go into yachts or into other classes and a lifetime of sailing.
Yeah, well, back in the day, they weren't one design,
No.
And you were battling always for that technological edge, especially in the 80s and the 90s, Steve, when you sailed. We had the Wing Wars, a famous period of time in the 18-footers when they were developing boats out of different materials. We had the Kevlar and the foam, and the boats got wider and wider with the wings. I think at one stage there they were out to maybe 33 feet wide, wingtip,
which is more than double than the width now.
Yeah, what are they now? 14 feet, 7 inches or something currently, and back in the day they were 33. So we saw some radical changes in boating. Prime Computers, I think, was that Julian Bethwaite? He had the double-handed 18-foot skiff. People thought he was crazy back in the day. Who could sail an 18-foot skiff double-handed? And they did it, So
20-foot wings, 20-foot wings that were hinged, 2 people on board. Real innovator. So that's a more recent innovator. And the designs he put into that is what you see now in 49ers and 29ers.
Yeah, the Olympic 49er class and the Olympic 49er FX class is all Julian. Julian's the grandfather of it all.
Well, he is now, but there's the next wave, which is another wave of innovation, another wave of shaping of sails, and seeing where these people go. Like you say, Tom Needham jumps on Yandu, but he does things with the youth AC classes. He was with the GPs, and they all have a bit of a go at that.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the young ones come up through the ranks. I was made to feel very old this week. I was coaching at the Optimus Nationals, and some of these kids are just amazing at how skillful they are, and they're going to be here on this racetrack in 232 at the Olympic Games in Brisbane, and it's only 7 years away. And we're going to see some of the names on this race sheet today. The Harry Prices of the world, they're probably going to be some of our Olympic sailors coming into 232. So it's exciting times for Australian sailing at the moment with all the talent in the country, and especially in the 18-foot skiff class. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and it is. If you look at every one of these boats here, they're all doing it because they love it, and that's the thing that I find most pleasing in watching a skiff race, is that it's close racing. They're going to have a good ride, but they love sailing. They just want to be on the water, and if they can get a good ride, that's the skiffies' thing they dream of.
I don't know if I'd be loving sailing today, mate.
I guess that's the hard part. So it's
just currently looking out the window. If we have a look,
it's just glassing out.
It's glassed out. So we've got to get better weather comms, better weathermen, Steve. We've
point to the blue screen behind us.
We've had a shocker today. We thought there was going to be strong winds, and it's glassed out, and it's gone. It's gone the full 180 in breeze direction.
Pear-shaped or aubergine, yeah.
Yeah, pear-shaped, totally. So we might go to a break and let the viewers have a break as well, and we'll grab a quick sandwich and we'll be back for the next race.
Thanks, Adrian.
So, Steve, we're been sitting out. We've had not a lot of breeze here, and the breeze hasn't filled in as we thought with that southerly breeze. So it looks like the race committee sent all the boats ashore, and they've put the AP over A, which means go to shore.
Waiting further instructions.
Waiting for further instructions. So, you know, just a wrap-up of race one. We had great racing. We had Lazarus out in front for most of the race with Tom Koenig, and big wind shift that caught the team a little bit off guard. And the Rag and Famish, Harry Price.
And Finport.
Yep. Keegan York from New South Wales. Harry Price on Rag and Famish, his team. They were first across the line. Second, we had Finport, Keegan York with Joel Turner.
Which is why we were claiming it as a Queensland boat.
Yeah. We love claiming the Queenslanders.
But definitely a New South Wales boat.
He's definitely a New South Wales boat. And then Lazarus, Tom Koenig, got the third. So we might have put the Mozza on him. And
we got Mark on station here. We might see if we have a quick flick to him.
Yeah, Mark, what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, not a lot of breeze. I think there was actually a bit of a mutiny by the sailors. They all started heading in before the race committee had blown it up. So, but no, the breeze is actually really strangely, it's come back round again from where we were in the finish with that 180 degree. It sort of came back round almost in the same direction that we had for the first race, but a lot less. It's barely enough breeze for these guys to even sail back home. So, yeah, they all made a bit of a start, and I think there's some cold drinks waiting for them when they get back ashore.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. It's the aerial shot we were showing before was really clear that there's a lot of glass out there, not a lot of breeze, and it would be very difficult to have a fair race.
Yeah, for sure, Steve. I think the race committee's made the best decision. We're going to head to shore and wait it out and see if there's more wind this afternoon. And I'm sure the crews are really going to appreciate it because they're going to be steaming in those wetsuits. It's probably about 30 degrees here at the moment. And so, you know, all the teams will be happy to go back to shore and just wait and see what happens.
Okay, so we'll wrap it up for here now, and we'll see you very soon, hopefully, and more coverage of the 18-foot skiff Australian Championships hosted by Wealth Finance, RQIS and Brisbane 18-footer Sailing Club. Look forward to speaking to you all soon.